these girls not stealing shit.
Yeah, we got them. It was a good setup. You know,
Yeah, it's really good setup. Hey, what up, everyone? I got here the only Chuckstock from Farcade. Introduce yourself to the peeps.
Okay.
Just a little soft introduction.
Okay.
Who's Chuckstock? What are you doing Web3?
Yeah, man. So I'm Chuckstock. Been in crypto for about 10 years now, going way back to coding school in 2015. Happened to go to school with a bunch of Bitcoin junkies at the time, so I never really understood Bitcoin. I was like, well, I don't know, you guys all seem crazy to me.
Yeah.
But then I went to an Ethereum meetup in early 2016, and something about smart contracts just really clicked for me. I have an accounting and finance background, so when I saw that, I really just got obsessed with the space. I got really obsessed with the technology and really obsessed with Ethereum since then, and so I ended up leaving. Yeah, after code school, I ended up going to work at Shapeshift with Eric Voorhees.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was built a product called CoinCap, which was the #2 pricing service behind CoinMarketCap for a long time.
Oh,
and then I built, I was lead engineer on the rewrite, so if you could see what Shapeshift is today, which is like a DEX tool aggregator.
That's awesome.
And then thank you, sir. Wolf, baby.
Whoop, whoop.
Woof. Yeah, so super into crypto, did Shapeshift. I was at Shapeshift for 3 years, but me and my brother were always just like obsessed with gaming and really wanted to be in Web3 gaming. And so we ended up starting our first company in like 2019, which was like a decentralized tournament aggregator. And so we were doing stuff like really early with like PUBG and Fortnite, where you could put all your money into a smart contract.
You were basically pioneers in that end.
That was definitely like a function of being like way too early into the market. Like that was like we did our first onboarding with like a Diablo 2 community of all things, and we had to tell them how to download MetaMask. Everything was still on mainnet because that was the cheapest place to do it.
It was.
So it's pretty funny looking back at some of those old tournament payouts, because I think ETH was only like $200 at the time, and so a lot of people made a good amount of money in those tournaments. But it just was too early. Like the technology wasn't there, the infrastructure wasn't there. We pivoted more into like a community gaming platform and did that for a bit. But then like the questing and all that stuff got very. It just became a very crowded space. We didn't ever really love it either, you know.
Yeah, it was just something kind of like, but you didn't have that true passion for it.
Yeah, we were more excited by just being in Web3 and gaming than we ever were really that excited about that product. And so that company ended up shutting down in January of last year. And on the heel of that, we were thinking of the next thing we wanted to do. And the whole reason we went back to code school is to make games. And so at that point, we're like, fuck it. We tried the infrastructure play. We tried that. Didn't work. Let's just like make something we want to do. Let's make a game. And so we ended up building Far World, which was like a hardcore creature collection game built specifically on top of Farcaster. And that did really well. It kind of blew up overnight and was really exciting. And so a lot of people loved it. And we ended up building and working on that for a little bit. And the other idea was the Farcade, which we'll get into more here, which is, I think, the really big thing that we're working on. But that was, the Farcade was like this vision of trying to like tap into all these tailwinds we saw forming in the space with, I think, like on-chain wallets and infrastructure just getting way better and UX getting better. This like open app ecosystem with like Telegram mini apps and Farcaster frames, and like World App is doing it now. And then AI coding. And so now the Farcade is really trying to be this like TikTok for playing and creating games, and it's been growing really fast. And we can go down that rabbit hole.
No, it's insane. I'm super excited. Before going a bit deep into that, slightly like super different story, but slightly similar, just in the case that I also learned about Bitcoin super early in 2016. Because it was got in my course in computer science. And then we talked a bit about blockchain and shit, and I was like, this is interesting. But I'm like, and then did the course, worked for like 2 years front-end development, and I was like, this sucks. And then I took game design and game development certification for like 5 months, pretty intense course. That was nice. And then I just started getting into Web3 at the same time, getting Degen and going to community side. I do love like the creativity side of programming as well, and that side and game design. So that's why like Farcade, the moment I saw it, that shit clicked for me. Like that was like
awesome.
In a second. So that was why I was so excited to start playing all the mini games and shit.
I love that.
And also like such an important thing for me when it comes to what you're trying to do is like you'll have a shit ton of all these mini games super accessible. Like my mom every single day almost she's like after dinner or just in the couch, like if me and my dad are watching football or something, she'll watch like 20 minutes, she's like, that's enough. And then she's just playing games that are basically the kind of games you have in Farcade, right? So it'll be super easy to sell and explain to these people in the Web 2 normies, which is one of the things that we're missing the most, right? So even on that side, you have that spot on, and then you'll be sparking that creativity from the regular people with the AI coding that you're also talking about Simplified the other day.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny you say that because when we were first building the Farcade, we basically had this idea of TikTok for games, and then a lot of people were talking about the pump.fun for gaming. It was like one of the first ideas we were brainstorming, which is like, what if every game has a token and everyone can buy and trade on it? And so we thought there was something there. We thought that was really cool. And then my brother, who's my co-founder, and I were home for the holidays, and we had just launched the Farcade, and we ended up showing it to my parents. And my brother and I have showed my parents every app we've built in the last 10 years. They've never used any of them. And so we were showing them the Farcade, and like they seemed to be very into it. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like it's the first thing like they've really ever used and like understood what we were doing. And then the next day I came back, I went into the living room, and my dad was already up at 8 a.m. and he had gone through all of his tickets in the Farcade, and he was begging me for like more tickets to go play more games. And then I just found out a couple weeks ago that my mom has been playing every single day.
That's so cool.
And so it's been like, but when we had our parents playing the games, we basically had this moment where we realized that the Farcade had this potential to be something more than a pump.fun for games. It had a potential to really bridge the gap of Web 2 and Web 3 users. The AI-generated code in games is like something I believe just to be a full, like truly transformative moment in gaming and like consumer apps. And so we kind of pivoted away from let's not make this out the next like DeFi trading app. Let's maybe build something that has this like 10-year roadmap of being incredibly disruptive and exciting. And so that's like, so I love to hear like, because I think moms and gaming are actually like this huge segment that we don't really talk about, but they play a lot of games.
A lot.
The Farcade is very well suited for mom gaming.
No, it is perfect. But God bless your parents for playing and giving you that spark, right?
I know,
to turn into that, because I definitely think that pump.fun idea is all right.
It's all right.
But compared to what you have now is like years apart in terms of the potential and what Farcade can become compared to the pump.fun, I would say.
I agree.
Right?
And I think like I didn't really want the Farcade to become about trading. Like everything kind of devolves. It just feels like everything gets reduced to that. And I feel like my brother and I have been in the space for 10 years, and we're pretty dissatisfied with the amount of consumer apps that exist in the space. And this isn't a fault of developers or really anyone. Like I think we're all responding to the market and trying to get product market fit. And trading apps are just like what happens. And I have a ton of respect for everyone building on-chain games. I don't like want to like shit on any builders out there. But we should have better consumer apps that are very mass consumer focused, and there really aren't that many to speak of. And so I think the Farcade really just went from this idea that really could satisfy like a crypto degen need to being like, this could satisfy this broader market, which is I think this next generation of game makers and game developers that I think there's a lot of people who are really excited to build and make games that have never been able to. They've never had the engineering skills or the money or the funding, and now everybody's going to be able to do it. And I'm spending my whole time here at this conference. It's actually like live coding and meeting people and just like proving that it's possible. Showing people just truly how easy it is
to make a game. And
the craziest shit about it is like, people are making really compelling games who have never coded. They do it in a couple hours, and it's the worstest technology will ever be. It's only getting so much better. Every couple months, there's like a new LLM or like a new library, and then now your games are 10x better than they were. And so
for sure,
I'm really excited about that because I think the next wave of gaming is going to be just from people who are very creative and never knew how to code, and now they're totally going to
100%. And it's also like a really good thing because most that there's been for quite a while like no code platform for games, quite simple, but most people just don't know that exists, right? And also a lot of people don't know they have that creativity in them and all of that. So definitely it will be like super fun to see people tapping into that from Farcade and exploring making games, right? So I think that is super exciting. I've always like loved games in that side aspect and thinking about the design and then behind the scenes. So I think it'll be one of the most exciting streams, just tuning onto a random stream. There's this random creator just creating games on Farcade and having all these unique ideas. And probably then you'll have like a random ass game from a guy with like 2 viewers on Twitch that everyone enjoys and pops off, right? That'll be insane to see.
Yeah, like it happens all the time already, right? Like Vampire Survivors and these types of games are built in a handful of days by just an indie dev. You know, and then all of a sudden they, get streamed once by XQC or whatever, and it's the most viral game. Yeah, it's the most viral game in the world. And so, like, the gaming is going to be like totally unlocked, and like creativity is going to be totally unlocked. And I think there's also this weird thing that's happened with gaming, and it's happened a lot with like Hollywood movies, where it costs so much money to make these things. People have stopped like really pushing the boundaries of creativity because if you're going to put $100 million into a movie, you're not really willing to experiment.
You need it to make the sales to justify that.
And so every movie has the same silly arc, and it's the same hero's journey. It's always the same plot line.
And the games lately kind of as well.
And the games are the same. Like, it's like, okay, if we're going to spend 6 years building a game, we can't really branch out. We can't like really redefine the space.
You can't.
Because we've already like explored it so much, and people don't have like the appetite to like truly like innovate too much.
Yeah, 100%.
But that all completely changes when it maybe, instead of taking millions of dollars and years to make a game, it takes one person a day, hours, or maybe like even minutes to make it. Like the economics totally change, and especially since we just launched our beta access for the game studio last week. No incentives, no real rewards other than extra points in the Farcade. I think the beta access was 4,000 people. We had over 500 people come make games. We had over 600 games made, and 150 games are getting launched this week.
That's so cool.
We basically like 15x to the amount of games we had in the Farcade in 1 week.
So 150 games this week?
Yeah.
I'm already not sleeping, Chuck.
Yeah,
I slept 1 hour today, and you're telling me there'll be 150 new games for me to explore this week.
Yeah, they just started graduating. Let's see. So we basically implemented this like graduation process where everybody's games get into the main platform, which is like that TikTok style feed.
Yeah.
But you don't make it into the feed when you launch a new game. We're really particular in this kind of middle term right now, where we really want, when you're coming to the platform, to have a good experience. And if you just open it up too early,
just a little bit.
Especially since so many people are just like trying the tool. We don't want like those like test games to end up on a lot of people's feeds. So basically, games go into this. Basically, what we're calling like an unreleased or like a chaos area where there's all these like random games, and once games hit a certain thrill of times played and plays, they basically graduate into our main feed.
That's awesome.
They get on our front page, and they really like skyrocket in plays. An example is this game called let's see, I think it's Banana Hunt right now.
Oh, really?
So let's take a look at it.
We'll show you guys I'll put it on top of the
So Banana Hunt is this really cool game. This guy built this, and it's got like little animations. Connect bananas as you're climbing. Well. It's got like nice sound effects, and then it goes faster and faster as you try to climb. And you're just trying to get as many bananas as you're going. So like, again, a pretty simple game.
Yeah,
something that's really cool is this guy was trying to build a game like this for a really long time. He was learning how to write software, learning how to build the code. And it took him like a few months to go from like zero to writing a game. Like,
it takes a lot, even if you're going full speed, trying to learn as much, full intensity, still takes a long time.
Yeah, and so what's cool is it just takes so long, like that 0 to 6 months, is you just learning software, learning the syntax, learning stuff. Like you can't really build anything meaningful.
No, not at all.
So to get a simple game takes 6 months. Like it takes 6 months to go from 0 to then. But now this guy went from 6 months, and he actually built that game in 2 hours.
Yeah,
and I think that's just so insane.
Yeah, that's so insane.
So cool.
So insane, because I'm thinking about just my time at uni, when in my last year of uni I had game development as well.
Yeah.
And we did this really basic 2D zombie platformer. I did basically the opposite. So you were actually a zombie trying to survive a human apocalypse. like a 2D platform, and that took us like months, right?
Yeah.
And even then, later on, when I did the game design and game certification, we also ended up just having to do with the 2D platformer. Had a little bit of jump physics, so it's a little bit harder, and it was quite an intense course. But over the period of 5 months, you just end up with an experience that if you show someone to play, they're like, yeah, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
Which is normal, right? That's just the journey itself. So the fact that people will be able to go from that to be like, oh, I just made an insanely good-looking mobile game in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It will be mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it's so insane like that. So that game just graduates, and now it's been played 15,000 times in the last 6 hours or something. So we're really trying to bring players to these games because there's a huge appetite for these games. Just to go like, I know this game isn't going to be something I'm going to play for the next 3 weeks, but I know I'm going to have a lot of fun for maybe 5 to 10 plays. And ideally, it's something that I play for a few days in a row. But you're not too worried about the longevity of these games anymore because it just doesn't take you that long to build them.
Yeah. You don't worry about that because if you're spending like 1 year to do a game, you have to focus about it. If you're 22 hours and people play like 2-3 days in a row, it's already amazing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, there is this thing too where when games become this easy to make and it feels more like posting a video on TikTok or posting a video on Instagram or YouTube, you're not really posting a video on TikTok to make money. You're posting on it to gain views and grow brand and do
for
stuff.
sure.
And the same is happening with the games, which is really cool, is you're making these games literally as fast as it might take you to edit a video now.
Yeah, or faster.
Yeah, or faster. Like I really do believe you'll make games faster than you could make edited videos.
I think so too as well, yeah.
I think editing videos is actually going to be one of those things that is going to continue to become more of a luxury because it's going to be really hard to do in a very automated way. But it's just really cool to see that and then see this transition, seeing it happening in real time with the Farcade. Because we started building around this thesis around 6 months ago, and I think we thought it would take more of a year to try to get here, and I think part of me wishes it's going a little bit slower so we have a little bit more time to build. But
is it slightly scary how fast it's going?
Yeah, it's very scary. It's like equal parts. Like it's super exciting, but also like
there's always that spark.
And I think you'd have to be like a little crazy not to have like a little bit of that like kind of like lizard brain like doomsday thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like AI's coming, like it's here. Like I mean, even here we're riding around on those self-driving Waymos. I was like, man, the future's like weirdly here.
Last year I landed super sleep deprived. I'm going Uber, taking the BNB. I had no idea those cars existed at all. My Uber stops at an intersection. I just see that car going by. Boom, no one inside, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? No, that's amazing.
It's pretty wild, and so it's been super exciting. It's really fun to see the excitement around the Farcade and seeing all these people building games, and the amount of messages I get from like people who like I've never coded before. That was awesome, and like it's so fun like to get like people to play my game, and the Farcade studio is really fun. It makes me feel super good, and I'm really excited, and we're just I feel like really trying to lean into the AI narrative and being this like future of hyper casual gaming.
It definitely should.
And I think it'll be the future of all gaming, but I think in the next 6 to 12 months, I think that's where it's really gonna.
Interesting. Do you think it'll be actually the future of literally all gaming?
Yeah.
So let's say like let's give it like 5-10 years timeline. New Marvel Rivals coming. You think that would be bad? AI would take care of all of that. My
big prediction is in the next 15 months, one of the highest grossing games in the world will be built by someone 14 years or younger, just using AI prompts and not using the editors, not using anything, just a purely prompt-based game will be, and by a young person. Like I think like a young person will just be completely unlocked because a lot of these editors and like GUIs and no-code stuff, like like even like Roblox and Unreal Fortnite editor, like they make it easy, but not really. Like learning to use Unreal Engine and that stuff is still a chore. Like these things aren't that simple.
It still takes a bit for sure.
It's way simpler just to do plain text messages and talk to an AI. Is he gonna be in the shot?
No, he's not. He's fine.
Okay, good.
He's fine. Don't worry.
No,
don't worry. No.
You're good.
No, it's there, but it's zoomed in, and don't worry at all. I can cut it off.
You're good, brother. You're good.
Yeah.
Scared me, dude.
No, don't worry at all. It's pretty chill. Right? We've had like people come in that just think we're having a talk. I'll just get that part.
No, you're good, brother.
Super chill.
Yeah, do not worry about it. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, all good. And then like the other part, like that for Farcade that I love as well is perfect for communities. Like in game nights and things, and just pop in everyone doing games, seeing who does the best game or the most fun, the most chaotic, gamble on it. Like it's like so good for every single part of that, and content creators it just ticks all boxes.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a lot of that with gaming too, with like the way we see like YouTube channels grow and communities grow around just like that content and those communities. And I think you'll see that with gaming, where you see like games are built just for, you know, the wolves. Like we have our 5 or 10 games that are game nights that we've all built and we all play together, and like you don't really care no one else plays them. It's like they're just our games. There wasn't a big financial investment. It was a lot of just like creative idea and like stuff that we're building. So I think you'll see a lot of growth like that in gaming, because there just isn't the friction to make these games anymore. And I think it's going to be a very interesting time. Like again, it's really transformative. It's the craziest thing that we've seen since the smartphone. Like and it's going to do exactly to us what smartphones did, which it makes it impossible to think of a time before smartphones. Like it's impossible. It's like so hard to remember how we even got anywhere. Like how did we even like get taxis and keep track of our schedule and all that stuff before smartphones? And the way AI is going, it's going to feel very similar to these next few years are going to be very interesting. It's going to change in ways that we're not really predicting, but it's going to be very hard to imagine this life again. Like the genie's out of the bottle. Like this AI is coming. It's coming very fast, and it's really going to change a lot of what we know about technology and software, because that's no longer going to be a barrier for anything. Like everybody's going to be able to write code, build apps, do all of that stuff, and so it's just going to be. I'm super excited to be a part of it and try to help curate it in a way really built around gaming.
In a good way, as well. That's important as well, for sure.
Yeah.
I like to ask this question.
Yeah.
It's slightly hard, but I enjoy it a lot, and I like to see people think about it. So, where do you think Farcade will be in 1 year, 5 years, and either 7 or 10, whatever you want to do?
Yeah, so our goal for the end of the year is to be the biggest gaming app on base. And so our goal is, in a lot of the way that we're thinking about that is we're really leaning into like mini apps and gaming apps. And so we really want to continue to grow and be hopefully the best product in crypto for anyone who wants to build and launch a game and get users to play games and all of that. So we just want to dominate the crypto niche this year and be like, if anytime someone thinks of like TikTok of gaming or like social media and gaming or AI generated games, instantly. They should be playing and thinking of Farcade, and that's where we want to get to this year. 5 years is we want to disrupt app stores. Like we think that the iOS App Store, the Google Play Store, they're going to be so antiquated so fast, because you're going to be able to build a game or an app or like even like something amazing in an hour. Like you're not going to have to sit 2 weeks for something to get through an iOS App Store and then give them a 30% fee.
Yeah, like for something you did for 1 hour.
Yeah, so the app stores are going to be totally disrupted by this like next wave of technology, which is all going to be like web-based. Even though you'll use apps and stuff on phones, I think there's an incredible amount of disruption that will come from gaming and mobile games on app stores. And there's a huge delta between how much money those app stores are making in that 30% fee versus how much the actual games are making. There's like, I think the App Store fee was making around $40 billion in fees from some of the top games, and those top games only made about $25 billion. Like they literally are almost doubling the amount of money just in fees, and it's I think it's like pretty gross, honestly. It's like certainly not equitable. They certainly aren't providing nearly that much value anymore. I think you could have argued that 10 years ago they certainly were. I don't think they are any now. And so that's where we want to be in the next 5 years, is disrupting those things and becoming one of the best destination apps on your phone. We want to be on everybody's home screen. As like this is like just like a necessity.
Home screen, phone,
like
cars,
a home screen game.
Fridges.
Just like everybody's playing. Everybody has that icon on their home screen, like they have the Discord icon or something like that.
That's awesome.
So that's like the 5 years, and then 10 years, hopefully we're all still alive and AI.
Hopefully,
AI hasn't taken over.
Hopefully, it's not AI doing interviews talking about us like, oh, those guys were great, and then Seek, the story, how we weren't extinct.
yeah. So hopefully we're still alive and cooking after that.
Hopefully we're at Wolves Den.
Wolves Den
number 11.
Dude, that'd be sweet. Yeah,
that'd be insane.
Yeah, we'll be on like a spaceship.
Yeah. Spaceship in Mars. Elon Musk is half man, half robot, probably by then.
I know. So it's but those are the big. Those are like the big. We call them like big, hairy, audacious goals. Mm-hmm. The BHAGs. So we want to really be this home for crypto users and anyone who has any inkling of wanting to be a gamer in crypto. Like we want to dominate that whole market. And then like I said earlier, we do really believe we have a product that can bridge that chasm and have the moms playing and the dads playing and the kids playing. I think something in that 5-year goal I see as well is we want to be really aggressive, like pushing into schools and like teenagers. Like the Farcade I think is a really perfect application for like young kids to be building and creating games and sharing content with their friends. I think there's a tremendous capability for it to go viral amongst like young adults.
100%. And there's also, I really enjoy that you want to do this because I feel like nowadays kids and youngsters, they're all missing a lot on creativity.
Yeah.
They're all becoming quite iPad zombies or something like that and not doing much when it comes to that. So definitely the aspect that, of course, you want them to play games, but what you want the most, having them make the games. Like game in like a couple minutes, fun, creative, friends play, then the other guy goes, right? So that's really exciting.
And that's what we definitely like think of ourselves closer to like a platform like social media app than we do a Steam or something like that, like an app store. Like I think gaming is inherently a very social experience. Like we love talking like we're at Wolves Den here for our love of Web3 gaming, and it's one of my favorite things about this space is like the people I have gotten to meet through gaming. And
me too.
We love the games. They're doing tournaments downstairs. Everyone's screaming.
I was screaming just a few minutes ago.
It's incredible and it's super fun. And so like I think that's what we're motivated by, especially like when you talk about going into high schools and adapting that audience. Is I think you're just gonna have a tremendous amount of creativity and games being made, and they're meant to be social and shared. And like, hey, I made this game. Let's go play it this weekend and like all this stuff. And I think there's a really big opportunity there and something that is going to be super fun and very social compared to just mindlessly scrolling. TikTok really isn't that social. Like you kind of engage in the comments.
It's not social at all. I would say even like the only social aspect is you seeing TikToks and then spamming your friend with 15 TikToks. He watches one, ignores the rest, and then you're just doing that for like ever. And then a scroll is not really interactive. It's quite, I think, it's quite the opposite, right? And anything like that, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, Shorts, they're all the same, right? At the end of the day, but definitely this wave of like short form content has been overall quite net negative. Wow, that was tough.
It certainly feels that way. It certainly feels like it almost feels like this like perfect thing that Silicon Valley has been building towards for the last like 15 years, which is like this amazing dopamine addiction platform. And TikTok is like the pinnacle of like what we've learned about human psyche over the last 20 years. And so I literally go on it and I feel like it's just 40 minutes goes by. I'm like, what just happened? I just was like one more swipe.
And you don't remember of 99% of the things you watch or more.
Exactly.
That's when you realize, oh shit.
And it's actually interesting. They've done a lot of studies on this with like, it's not the same as watching a show or a movie. Like movies have like storytelling and build and like there's.
And you're like engaged, thinking about it and kind of trying to predict what comes next. And the other one's just like.
Yeah, the other, like you have like a completely different brain activity when you're watching a show versus watching TikTok. And there's a lot to love about TikTok and I think what they've built, but I certainly don't know how like positive it is, and I'm more excited by like this interactivity of gaming and social, like where social meets gaming.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It feels so refreshing to talk with someone like yourself, building something so exciting and so cool. Because for the past like couple, I've been like the total DJ in Web3 gaming. I would say for about 2 years and a half, and I would say that about. I will try to be kind because I love Web3 gaming. I'll tell you that about 5 to 10 projects have been able to, either projects that are upcoming or projects that have failed, but they just really tried, that I was like, I would love it to be successful either because it was a great game or whatever it is, right? And yours is actually top number one for me right now.
Oh, thank you.
No, really, because I've been thinking about it. Everything else has come. Like, I love Wildcard, what they're trying to do and everything as well. They're definitely up there and off the grid, of course. But yours and Farcade and what you and your brother are building, I feel like is the one that definitely ticks the most boxes. And it's so selling, right? I feel like you guys won't need to do any marketing at all. You wouldn't need to if you didn't need to. Of course, you have the powerhouse of Sam, and that would be amazing. But if you didn't do any, you just focus on the building and having built that experience of building mini games and people sharing it around, sooner or later, I feel like it would just market itself. That's how good it is. So
I think that's why Sam was like such a fun hire for us because it felt like it blended a lot of like how we saw the future of like content and marketing going, which was like the Farcade is a very different platform than a game. Like it's very different than like I need to build like this marketing and roadmap and all this stuff. Like a lot of what you're talking about is like we think the Farcade can operate almost entirely around earned media and sharing a lot more of like success stories of people building in the game. And so Sam's someone who's obviously an unbelievable content creator, like knows that space really well. And so I think like we didn't want to hire a traditional, go to market or like marketing agency or firm where it's all about this, like, I think people make like a false equivalency of like, oh, you're a hyper casual mobile game, so it's just about like this spend and your LTV is a little bit higher than you're spending, just setting money on fire through Facebook ads and that type of stuff. And it's different for us because like the platform is we're not a hyper casual mobile game.
Yeah.
People create hyper casual mobile games, and our platform has like game mechanics similar to something like Duolingo and stuff that we take inspiration from, but we don't see ourselves needing the funding of the marketing like the Infinity Gods and the Fableborns because they're building a game and an IP and a brand. We're just building a platform and almost a social media platform. Again, I think a lot of people, if you just inspire and give people a great way to get gamers, they're going to go build and launch games and bring a ton of people in. And so that's why it's, speak of the devil, super nice to have someone like Sam on the team because like he thinks of, because he thinks about marketing and content and branding the same way we think about it. And it also aligns very well with like the way the product is getting built and the way that we think we can create a ton of content and goodwill around it because it's just a different animal than just marketing a business.
Oh yeah, totally different. And also feel like most marketing agencies, even the ones that are great, would probably struggle not struggle, but it's not the thing that they used to, the experience they have, because yours, like you were saying, is totally different.
Yeah, it's
There's
totally
nothing comparable right now.
Yeah.
So I would feel like they would probably try always to kind of adapt it and do something similar to what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think when I saw Sam pick, I was like, yes.
Yeah, it was really exciting, man. I think we got really lucky. I've known Sam for forever, and I've wanted to work with him since the day I met him in Peyton, which was actually at GDC 2 years ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, GDC 2 years ago, I met Sam and Peyton at just a random meetup, and I was like, those guys are fucking awesome. And they're just and Wolves was kind of becoming really big. It was really starting to come.
That was around the time I got accepted.
Yeah, so it was right. They'd been around for a minute, but it was really like 2 GDCs ago. It really became a thing, and it's also like a lot in part because of Sam helping Peyton, and then Peyton getting the vision starting to come together. And so when I met them, things just really aligned with like and wanted to work with him, and then. I literally just like a few weeks ago, I was talking to Sam and sharing ideas, and I was talking to my brother. I was like, "Oh yeah, Sam said this," and Bobby's like, my brother Bobby was like, "Should Sam come work with us?" And I was like, "There's no way he'd say yes." Everybody tries to get Sam to come work with them, and he's got a great gig, and he's doing all this stuff with the Wolves. And I called him, and the timing was really good, and he was really excited because the gaming companies he had worked for before, he just couldn't feel like he could add a lot of value because the games were 3 years out from. He was doing a lot of like NFT and marketing and stuff that I think is great, but I think he's really excited because our games are here. Like our games are here.
The product is here.
The product's here. We're not talking about a 5-year roadmap for a game that might be successful, but like, the product's here. We're going to keep shipping and iterating. And all the content marketing we want to do, we can start doing today, and it's not this like mythical thing down the road.
That makes a lot of sense, and it's also the struggle with a lot of us creators, where it's like, I love a lot of these games, and I'll create content of them. But it's like you create a piece of content or two, and then I'm like, there's no point creating more.
Yeah.
Respectfully, because that's it, right?
Yeah.
You need to wait 6 months because the natural development cycle of games. It just takes that time. It's normal. So, and
yeah, you can make a tier list every week on the Farcade.
Yeah, exactly,
point,
exactly.
There'd be infinite content, and it probably would be infinitely interesting because there's like so much new stuff coming into the Farcade.
For sure.
And like, I think that's what's, there's just like, there's this flywheel coming with AI and generated games, and the Farcade is trying to capture on it, and because someone's going to nail this.
Yeah.
We want to be the team that nails it. But it's such a certainty that AI-generated games is going to be how all this stuff is built in the near term. Like, anybody's going to be able to spin up games incredibly easily, incredibly fast. And whoever can find a way
to make it work,
to make that work, build network effects around tokens and users and gamers and builders, they're going to do extremely well. And that's where we're trying to position ourselves and be that player, because it is like, it just literally is a certainty. Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
someone's gonna nail it, and it's gonna be a very, very successful.
Why not try, right?
Yeah, that's what we're going for, and that's why we're trying to be more vocal and be more out there. And I love having these conversations because I just want people to know what we're doing and like what our ambitions are. And like, I really do want, anytime someone in crypto thinks of AI gaming or TikTok or anything, it's
Farcade.
like Farcade.
Yeah.
Farcade.
No, I think no. I'll spend a disgusting amount of time on Farcade building games because I know it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. I'll lose hours of sleep on it and I'll love it.
No.
Because like I was saying, I love that aspect of games, and I didn't pursue it just because I got into Web3, to be honest. Otherwise, I'll be a game developer right now. Because I love that creative side. So the fact that I'll be able to be building games is like so awesome. I'll just be able to build games, and if I want, I can build like a game for like a specific experience or an event I'm doing online or a specific game night. That's so sick.
It's really cool, and I think you can even think about like the Wolves Den stuff. Like, like why couldn't there have been like a whole tournaments and content and stuff created on the Farcade just for this event?
Just for the week.
And there will be like that, and that's the world we're going into. And you know, the Wolves Den was a little too soon for us to pull this one off, but like that's literally the world we're going into. We're talking to some very, very big brands, not just even gaming companies, but like really big brands.
Outside of it,
gaming is going to be the next evolution of just like really interactive advertising and interactive media, and just because of how quickly you're going to be able to spin up these very ephemeral, fun experiences that are built around a brand or a marketing initiative or a TGE or an NFT drop coming, and we hope the Farcade to be like this extra tool that people have in their arsenal for if I am like Fableborn or I am Infinity Gods, and it's like, what I want people to be like, what's our Farcade strategy? Like, how do we get those users to like know about the next thing we're doing? So it's a lot of the stuff that I see in the short term with like these B2B partnerships and conversations we're already having, and everybody's looking for like this next generation of marketing. And so that's like what I think it's going to be.
No, that's amazing. And we can start closing this up. We've been going for a while because I feel like me and you could talk about this for like 4 hours.
We definitely could. It's a really cool topic, and it's something that I feel very lucky to like be building in because I find it like just infinitely interesting. I love
me too.
Talking about it because I just think
it's fascinating.
It's literally been, I'd say like iPhones, and then was kind of like iPhones when I was learning about smartphones and writing code, and then when I learned about Ethereum, and now this. It's like the three biggest things that have happened in like my adult life and the things that I care the most about. And it does feel like we're in that moment right now, which is like that, late 2000s with like social media and websites and smartphones started becoming a thing. And now, then it was like, blockchain technology and Ethereum, and that started becoming a thing. And now we're like in this era of AI's here, and like how do we use it to create like this next generation of apps and technology and consumer products. And so really happy to be building at the edge of it, and it's really exciting.
No, it's awesome. We're definitely blessed to have you leading the front alongside your brother, and then Sam is like the trio powerhouse. Web3 gaming has kind of been dreaming of for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to assemble an all-star team, and Sam was a great way to round out our team and compliment my brother and I, and we have a couple more guys we're in talks with that I think are other just like absolute rock stars. Mm-hmm. So hopefully,
that's awesome.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, amazing. Hey, thank you so much for the interview. That was awesome. Man. You enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, I loved it. Again, we could talk all day.
Yeah, of course.
Dude.